It's really welcome. I'm glad to see you. All right. Welcome and namaste to each of you. Thank you for being here. Last week we started a new series based on the chakras. I usually do this once a year, and Beth, I haven't done it in 2 years. I've been waiting. I've been waiting for more people to be in class, and then I've been waiting. And then all of a sudden, the first 2 weeks of July, community starts reforming. I thought, oh, I could start that soon. And then all of a sudden it dwindled, and I kept seeing rainbows. And when I see a rainbow, you know, when I was growing up, when I would see a rainbow, I would think about God's promise, you know, because that was the indoctrination I received through church. Nothing wrong with that. But now that I'm so inundated with yoga, when I see a rainbow, I think chakras. So it kept showing up, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to do it. For whoever's showing up, I'm just going to do it. So last week was all about first chakra, our foundation, our roots, our ancestors, our conditioning, whether or not we feel like we belong, our sense of safety, our sense of security, our primal instincts. And I mentioned that 2020 did a number on our first chakra, right? It completely kind of broke the ground of our foundation. So we had a lot of first chakra issues last year. And towards the end of last year, and as you've been seeing into this year, there's been a lot of duality and polarity at play, right? There's been more and more division happening with this or that subject. We don't want to talk about the subject matter, but we know it's playing out. This is second chakra stuff. Second chakra is polarity and duality. If you have a bipolar disorder, it's stemming from the second chakra. So what we're going to be moving into now with all these new energies coming in is third chakra stuff. The dissolving of the ego. I would say a lot more about that, but we're going to talk about second chakra right now. Second chakra concerns the hips, the sacral area, and the lower abdominals, the reproductive organs. It's about procreation. It's about our creative juices. It's about pain and pleasure, sexual identity, sexual preferences. It's about how we connect in relationships one-on-one with people. It's more of our core family, you know, our spouse, our children, can even tie in with money, acceptance, allowance, being adaptable to change, learning how to go with the flow, things of that nature. The color is orange. We mentioned last week, the red being the base color has the slowest vibration to it. Orange is right above that. We mentioned last week, earth element for the first. This is the water element for the second. The color is orange. The mantra is Vam. There's a mantra for each one. And the one for this one is Vam. Anything else I want to say about that right now? Okay, any traumas that can come about to really affect this chakra that can create a blockage or major malfunction or imbalances, or any type of emotional abuse, any type of sexual abuse, neglect. It could be religious severity. I mentioned this a couple years ago. I'm not saying anything bad about Catholicism. I'm just bringing this to a point that in Catholicism, you see priests and nuns taking these vows to stay celibate, you know, to renunciate any type of sexual energy whatsoever. And they do that for good reason, because they want to send all of their life force to God. It's all about trying to be in communion with the divine. But what can happen when it's denied and suppressed and ignored is it can come about in more deviant behavior. And this is why we hear sometimes in the news that priests are abusing, young children, but it's because they've suppressed so much of their own personal desires that it's bound to come out some way. So stay mindful and aware as we work through the practice today, and be a little self-reflective to see if any of these things, can apply to you, because it can really be a lifelong process. It doesn't have to be lifelong, but it can be a lifelong process to really recover from those things and to acknowledge these things and to accept that this happened and to work through it so that you can overcome it and break through to the other side. I want to share one example. I shared it in the last class when Beth was coming in. We did all of these cool community outings a couple years before Half Moon had to close. And we were doing things like going to Thistle Farms and going to the Jack Daniels Distillery and going to the Franklin Theater, going to hear kirtan in another yoga studio. But when we went to Thistle Farms, there was a woman who had been working and living there for 15 or 20 years. She had been sexually abused as a child, ran away from home at 12 or 13, and she was living on the streets, got hooked on drugs, got into prostitution, and became an addict, basically. She stopped herself from committing suicide, landed in a church, and the priest picked her up off the floor and said he wanted to help her. And she said, I've already been to rehab a couple times, it didn't help. He goes, but there's a new place that I've heard of in Nashville that I think will help. He put her on a bus, sent her to Nashville, and she started working with, she was a heroin addict. And last week I mentioned eating addictions and alcoholism typically is a first chakra issue, first chakra trauma issue. Second chakra trauma tends to lead people towards heroin. Anything that can numb you out, right? Because they're feeling pain, they're suffering internally and feeling guilt and shame. Guilt and shame are kind of like the demons of the second chakra. Fear is the demon of the first chakra. So if you're still getting induced into that aspect of fear, first chakra issue, overcome the fear, let love override the fear. There's a lot of fear mongering right now. Let love be your answer. In the second chakra, the addiction leans towards heroin because it numbs you out. It gives you euphoria, right? It makes you feel pleasure out of your pain. But anyway, this woman had started working at Thistle Farms and had been working with the paper that had a lot of thistle milk in it. And she wanted a release to go home to visit. I don't know who she was going to visit because she was runaway, but she was going back to Ohio for the holidays. And they were scared for her to go back because she was going to have a liver procedure after that because her liver enzymes were way off balance because of her lifestyle that she had had. When she got back, they checked her liver enzymes. She didn't relapse. They checked her liver and it was fine. It was healthy enough where she did not have to have surgery. And they discovered it was what was soaking into her skin that was very healing. So I don't know why I felt called to share that with you, but I felt called to share that with you. I'll be using some of the affirmations for the second chakra in our Shavasana today. We're going to do a moon salutation because yesterday was the full moon in Aquarius. And it's pretty intense. The energy from this full moon is supposed to last for a month. And the light codes are coming into the right side of the brain, which is beautiful because this is our intuitive, creative side of the brain. So hopefully we'll get those downloads and we'll start to see that playing out in a beneficial way. But since it was the full moon yesterday and it's a really potent one, thought we would do a moon salutation. We're not going to do the full moon salutation. We're going to adapt it a little bit. But let's begin. We'll just start with Christy and Denny. We'll just take a supine position on our backs. If you need to bend the knees, that's okay. If you prefer a bolster under your thighs and knees for support, add it in. Otherwise, take the corpse position and place your hands on your lower belly. Remembering the second chakra is the space between the pelvic floor and your navel. Close your eyes. And use the withdrawal of the senses and use your exhalations as a way to ground down into your body. You're still breathing in fully, allowing the belly to swell into the hands. But you're lingering and allowing that exhalation to last even more so. Breathing in and breathing out to a longer count. Set your intention to nurture yourself through this practice. Set your intention to fixate upon your second chakra to give yourself some healing. Picture in your mind's eye that you're breathing in orange rays of light. And as you exhale, send it all the way down to the sacral center. Breathing in that beautiful orange radiant light. Breathing it down to swirl around the sacral center. Now walk the feet closer together. We're going to start a little warm up here. On your inhalation, stretch the arms overhead and point your toes forward like a morning stretch. And as you exhale, you're going to hug only your left knee in towards your belly and chest. Inhale, extend your limbs. Exhale, swap sides and hug your right knee in. So it's like a mini yoga therapy. Inhale, morning stretch. And exhale, drawing the left knee in. Continue this flow of movement. And then do it one more time to each side. And then after you've completed that sequence, draw both knees into your belly and chest. Separate your knees so they're nice and wide, kind of fanning out towards the side ribs, like the yin form of stirrup. Letting your inner thighs fan apart. And keeping your breath nice and full. Your low back should feel anchored down to the ground. Now gently roll over to one side of your body. Press down into the top hand, and we're gonna come up to a tabletop position. Check in to see if you need any extra padding under your knees. Feel free to supply a blanket there. Once you stack onto your hands and knees, I want you to condition down your shins, your feet, and your ankles. As you anchor down through the shins and the feet, you're going to feel your belly pick up and kind of hug in towards your back body. Now from here, inhale, start to roll open into cow tilt. And exhale, rounding it out to cat stretch. And let this be the new flow of movement. Inhale, creating your cow, the sway in the low back. And then exhale, creating the arc through the shoulder blades. Continue one more round as you breathe. The next time you come to a tabletop position, walk your hands a handprint beyond where they were established, curl your toes, and launch into Adho Mukha Svanasana, your downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog position, take a deep breath in and really ascend all the energy from your hands and feet up into your seat. That sacral area. Let your head bow between the arms. And then pedal the feet, bending one knee, straightening the other leg. And the leg that straightens out, you're going to charge into your calves and heels. Just walking out the dog here. And once you do that several times over, travel the feet towards the top of the mat. When you bring the feet to the top of the mat, lift up halfway. Your hands are going to stack onto your shins. You're going to reach out through the crown of your head. And then as you exhale, pour down, relaxing the hands down toward the floor, regardless if they touch or not. Let your neck loosen, let your head get heavy. And it's okay to have a soft bend in the knees. Again, just warming up the back of the body, lengthening out the hamstrings. But this isn't all about first chakra, even though the affirmation correlates to the first chakra. This really is also about the second chakra. We're not just hinging from the hips, but we're opening up one of the longest energetic channels, which is the urinary bladder meridian. And the bladder and the urinary tract correlate back to the element of water and the second energy center. So we're going to take a couple more breaths here. And feel free to affirm within, nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. I'm going to save the second chakra affirmations for the end. Now, on your next inhalation, we're going to bend the knees. And as you bend the knees, scoop the belly in. Keep the upper body hanging like a rag doll. And gently start to roll up one vertebra at a time. And then once you roll up, your shoulders are going to roll back. You're standing up nice and tall. All right, so have your blocks, the direction you're facing, I want you to have your blocks there. And then once they're there, we're not going to use them yet, but they'll be strategically placed for when we need them. Hands are going to come together to Anjali Mudra, root down through the soles of the feet, zip up through the midriff. Remembering when we use the Uddiyana Bandha in the navel area, We're also activating the diaphragm at the pelvic floor with the root block. On your next in-breath, reach the arms out and up overhead. Let your arms frame your face. And as you exhale, curve over to the right, lowering the right arm down, and the left arm stays alongside your left ear. Chandrasana, crescent moon. Inhale, relift the right arm. Exhale, lower the left arm down and lean over to the left. Inhale, bring both arms back up. Exhale, bring your hands together down to your heart center, to Anjali Mudra. You're gonna step the foot back that turns you to face my direction. That may be left or right, depending on which way you're facing. We're taking the Kali Goddess pose. All right, we're gonna bring the fingertips down to the floor. And we're gonna make sure that the tailbone is basically in line with the crown of the head. So you can reach through the sides of the neck, you can look straight down. Try not to white knuckle your hands. The weight is in the feet. Roll your thighs away from each other. You should start to feel the sensation through the inner thighs, but mainly through the hips here. And then bring the hands back to prayer position and come up halfway. So you're still in that victory squat. Good. Now inhale, lift one arm up, lean across to the other side. Come through center and then take it to the other. Good, inhale, come through center, bring your arms up, Kali Goddess position. And as you exhale, tip the fingertips down towards the floor. Good, inhale, bring the arms up overhead. All the way overhead, so the back of the hands press together. Fingertips turn up. Okay, remember how you've crossed your hands. And as you exhale, remember how you crisscross your arms. One going towards one foot, one going towards the other foot. And then inhale, come up. Crisscross the back of the hands over the crown, the other way. Remember how you crossed your arms and crisscross the other direction. Good, inhale coming up. Alternating between the two. Last one. Probably grateful. I'm grateful too because I'm feeling this. Bring the hands to the center. Turn the feet so they're square with each other, more parallel. And just hinge over and bow out. Prasarita Padottanasana. Let the forward fold aspect be calming and cooling for the mind and nervous system. Think about opening up the floodgates to this major meridian in the back of the body. And also the floodgates to the hips. Flushing and clearing out any debris or anything we have suppressed. Inhale, gently walk your hands forward. Lift your head up halfway so that you're creating more of an evenness to your circulation and blood flow. Bring your hands to your hips and slowly start to stand. All right, wherever your blocks are placed, left or right, you're going to turn that foot to face the top of the mat. Good, extend your arms out, shoulder height. Lean out over the front leg and then exhale, windmill down to triangle pose. Now really ground and root your feet, lift through your kneecaps, extend out long through the vertebrae, especially space around the diaphragm muscle. Now, draw the fingers together for more of a moonbeam type hand. And then inhale, draw up with your left arm, lift to the other arm, and bend that front knee, warrior two. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Lift that front arm skyward, let the back arm hang back. And then exhale, reforming warrior two. Good, inhale, old school triangle. Exhale, Virabhadrasana two. Good, inhale, straightening up. Exhale, lunging the front knee, holding warrior. Good, as we exhale, we're gonna bring the hands to the inside of that front foot. We're gonna heel toe it over to the side. You're spinning off the back heel, and you're gonna lower the back knee, shin, and foot to the floor. If you need to be stacked on fist, that's okay. So I recognized that we were doing like a whole different kind of flowing sequence with blissful. And we were doing something we do at Dragon Dance, which I don't think is very gentle. So we're doing this in lieu of that. And in lieu of the Soma lunge, which is not so gentle, we're gonna do the winged dragon. So whatever foot's out in front, you're gonna allow it to roll to the knife edge side. So the knee kind of wings away from the body. Now you can also flatten the hand that's farthest away from that front foot, and the hand closest to that side can stack upon your thigh, and you can rotate into the twist. As you exhale, reground the front, turn to face the front. This is where you may need blocks. So when you bring the blocks in, heel toe that foot in front, more towards the center of the mat. Keep your hands stacked on the blocks so you can curl the back toes and lift the back knee off the floor. Good, we're gonna slowly straighten out the front leg now. Whatever hip is in with the back foot, you're gonna rotate it around towards your front foot. So if your right foot's in front, your left hip's rolling around, or vice versa. If it's your left foot, your right hip is rolling towards it. Good, one more breath. Now exhale, spin down to your back heel. When you spin down to your back heel, walk the blocks to the inside of the front foot, turn the front foot towards the corner of the mat, and take Skandasana. Side lunge. Good, walk it over, turning your back foot to the corner of the mat. And again, you may or may not need blocks with this. And you're just coasting from side to side. Back and forth between the two. If you prefer holding it in stillness, you can. It's a little bit more gentle to flow. All right, so since you have your blocks with you, whichever direction you were not facing, you're going to turn around to face the other direction and step up to the front. Lose your blocks for a moment and bow over and down to your Uttanasana. Letting your head fall heavily, letting your knees softly bend. It's giving yourself over to gravity. Inhale, coming halfway up. Exhale, spill down. And affirming here as you hold, nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. Bend your knees. Scoop the belly in, hang like a rag doll, and roll it up one vertebra at a time. Good, now that you're facing the other direction, let your shoulders roll back, let your sternum rise up. Good, go ahead and take both arms up alongside the face, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, spill the left arm down and curve to the left, Chandrasana, crescent moon. Doing great, Debbie. Inhale, bring yourself back up, and exhale, let the other arm fall away. Good, inhale back to the top, bring your hands down to prayer position at your heart. And now step to face me again, the Kali Goddess position. Once you step to the side, we're going to bring the fingertips down, stepping onto the hands, extending out through the vertebrae. Let the sensation erupt in your hips. This is where we're wanting the circulation and the energy to go right now. We're going to take a twist next. So twist to one side. So if you're twisting to the right arm will thread behind the back, the left hand will cross over to the right knee. And then when you're ready, you're going to swirl around to the other side. Twisting the left arm behind the back, and the right hand crosses to the left knee. All right, unwind from the twist, take the hands back down, turn your feet to be parallel, straighten out through your leg bones, and then gently fold with Prasarita Padottanasana. Breathing slowly and deeply in and out through the nose. Notice where your tongue is falling in your mouth. It may be in the upper palate. It may be behind the two top teeth. This is somewhere the tongue kind of naturally goes when we're inverted, sometimes even in meditation. I've heard there's an acupressure point up there, but I haven't actually researched it to find out for sure. But I read somewhere it goes back to one of the glands. Inhale, let's walk the hands forward, relift the head, even out the blood flow there, so you don't get lightheaded or dizzy. Now bring the hands to your waist or hip, slowly begin to stand up. Now we'll do that flow to the other side. So we're going to turn the foot towards the blocks, that second direction we were facing. Relift the arms, lengthen out over the front leg, and exhale, windmill down to triangle. Create a moving hand, heavy feet, long legs, long spine, deep breaths. Think about those light codes coming down in the right hemisphere of the brain, affirming here energy. New fresh energy and new consciousness flow down to me. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, lunge the front knee, warrior two. Good, now inhale, straighten the front leg. Lift that arm skyward. Old school version of triangle. Exhale, returning to warrior two. Good. Inhale and exhale. Doing one more of those. Again, focus on the sacral center. Focus on your hips. Now from here, we're going to bring the hands to the inside of that front foot. Sit away from your back heel. Heel toe the front foot over towards the edge of the mat. And you can go ahead and sink your back knee, shin, and foot. Feel free to add in a blanket for extra padding. Feel free to come onto fist if your wrists are feeling tender. Now, if you want to move towards the flying dragon, bend that front knee away from your body. So you can even take the twist. Unwind from the twist, flatten the front foot, heel toe it more to the center. This is where we're going to use those blocks if you're not already. Press down to the blocks, curl the back toes, pluck up that back knee, and then we'll inhale, straighten the front leg. Roll the back hip towards the front heel, and then lunge the knee. Good, inhale, straighten it out. And then hover and hold to your level of flexibility. So think about the guilt and shame being kind of the counter force of the second chakra. And then invite this affirmation in. I freely give myself over into the flow of grace. Removing out and away any guilt or shame. Lunge the front knee. Use your blocks for stability to plant your back foot, to turn the front toes towards the corner of the mat, taking Skandasana. And then again, we're just kind of cruising side to side, side lunges. And when you turn back to face the direction you were going before, you can lose the blocks. Flatten your hands down, step back to plank, and then press back to downward facing dog. And from Adho Mukha Svanasana, really root your hands and feet, really create that T-P shape with your body. Nice full deep breath in through the nose, blow it out through the mouth. And then come down to your knees. All right, when you come down to your knees, you can turn and face me again. And what we're gonna do is come into like the half pigeon form, where the left shin is out in front. The right knee's kind of coming up in its direction. And it doesn't matter in this pose whether you're on the inside of the foot or the top of the foot. So whatever's more comfortable for your ankle. So from this half pigeon, you could also do deer pose, which is a little bit differently set up, but it's similar. So what we're gonna do is inhale, lift up through the crown of the head, and exhale, double over the lap. And then we're inhale, lifting up. Exhale, hinging again. We're gonna lift and descend 3 times. On the 3rd time, you can hold it. So if you need a prop to stack your elbows on, you can. Some of you might be able to spill over all the way to the brow. Some of you may need to, again, stay stacked on your hands. Stay a little taller. Close your eyes. Remember, the meridians from the legs begin or end at the feet. So you may start to feel the percolation of energy in the feet as these channels start to flow more abundantly. And it's okay if you don't feel that sensation, but know that it's all connected. While you're here being contemplative and quiet, think about times where you know you're working with second chakra issues. There are certain crystals and stones that can be used to be beneficial. They could sit at your bedside table while you sleep. You could put it under your pillow as you sleep. You could lie in Shavasana and have the crystal sitting on the body or underneath the body. But some of the ones good for this center is tiger's eye, amber, orange carnelian, orange calcite, or quartz. If you're looking for essential oils for this chakra, it's sandalwood, patchouli, orange, tangerine. On your next inhalation, let's slowly come up. We'll swap the position of the legs. So the right leg's more in the half pigeon shape. The left is pulling up that direction. Then lift up through the vertebrae and exhale, hinge over. We're going to do up and down 3 times. So let your inhale lift you. And let your exhalation encourage you to bow out. And this third one, when you bow over, this is where you can determine where you want to hang out. Where can you steep in the pose a little longer? Find that level. So last week with the first chakra, we mentioned first chakra's physical or group identity. And second chakra is about emotional identities. Maybe imagining that orange disc of light spinning clockwise where you're feeling sensation. We're using the mantra VAM. next in breath, we'll slowly start to lift. And we're gonna stay with this position of the lower body, but we're gonna rotate to the right. And you're gonna lower down to your forearms. This is a twist called Wheel of Life. How slow. We're gonna swap the legs again. We'll take the twist to the left. So start to turn towards your left hip. Walk your forearms down. And if your forearms don't automatically come to the floor, you know, you can bring a prop, blocks, or a bolster underneath. Inhale, let's slow. Now everyone should have blocks and a bolster. Take one of your blocks, bring it beside you. We're gonna roll down. And once we roll down, we're gonna lift up into a supported bridge. So the block goes under the sacrum. The arms can be beside you. Palms open or turned down is fine. Opening up the lower belly, in front of the hips. But also getting the benefits of being inverted. Calming agent for the mind. Fan the knees open, bring the soles of the feet to meet. We're just gonna stay here for 3 breaths. Now draw the knees up. Stamp down on the feet. Take your left leg skyward. Just your left. Exhale, bend the knee, descend the foot, and inhale, fly just your right leg up. So we've mentioned in the past when we lift the legs in this pose, or if it's waterfall pose, it's really good for circulation. Last week I mentioned where circulation is governed by the first chakra. But what we're doing here is draining that into the pool of the belly. And that lower half of the belly is the second chakra. Good, bend the knee, bring that foot down. Now lift and tuck the tailbone away from the block so you can slide the block away and roll comfortably down to the floor. Roll to one side of your body and come up. We are going to create Stonehenge for Shavasana today. So both blocks are standing up and the bolsters backs on top. And then the calves stack on top of the bolster. You can roll down to your spine. So then I think it would feel better if you scooted towards your bolster a little bit. Oops, sorry. Christy, is it okay? I feel like you should scoot more to the fronts too, but if it feels okay, you don't have to.
No, that feels better.
Okay. I'm gonna switch out the music. I'd like you to listen to for Shavasana today. It's a soundscape based around the second chakra. The note is D. And some of the musical instruments good for this chakra are wind instruments that have a deeper tone, like a tuba or a bassoon. I mentioned last week, it's the drums for the first chakra. The bass guitar and the cello can also respond to the second chakra. These are bowls, but it also has the element of water pouring. Water being the element for this chakra. If we are deficient here, we can be emotionally numb. You could be rigid in the body, fearful of sexual expression, denying pleasure, fearful of change, or lack of desire or passion. If there's excess, it can develop into sex addiction, bipolar disorder, oversensitivity, obsessive attachment, or raging jealousy or dependency. These are just some signs that you need to improve or balance the energy. For now, I want you to soak in the sound as you relax, but I want you to affirm mentally within, I have the right to feel, And I have the right to create healthy boundaries. I celebrate my sexuality and understand that it's sacred. I deserve pleasure in my life. And I have the ability to change and adapt. If one of those spoke to you more, you can use that affirmation on repeat. Or again, just listen and absorb the sound. hearing the sound of our live mindfulness bell. Take a deep breath in. Slow breath out. Take the time to draw the knees in towards your heart. Wrap your arms lovingly around. Turn over to one side of your body to acclimate there first. Wake up to find a seat. Let's chant Balm together. Close out our practice. Take a deep breath in. Shanti, shanti, shanti. We continue to go about our day being free and at peace from anything out of our control, anything imposed upon us by another, or any internal concerns of our own. And we take all of these divine light codes, put them into use for the good. The light in me honors and bows respectfully to the beautiful radiant light in each of you. Thank you.
I'm happy you could join, Carlos.
Glad to enjoy it. I enjoyed it.
Good. And I hope to see you Wednesday. Oh, you know
Okay.
what? Oh,
No, Wednesday I won't be here.
you know what? I'm not either. So I'm going to send a recording out Wednesday because
Yeah.
I got to go get my hair done today. I'm going to an award show Wednesday night, so I got to get dolled up.
Oh.
But I will send a recording out for you guys for the restorative.
So we'll see you dolled up on Thursday then.
Yes, yes. You'll see my hair curled because I don't know how to do it by myself. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.